I'm back in BC, back at Hell's Gate. It's August and it's raining. I mean, it's raining for the whole month of August. The days are going by and I'm not finding a buyer. The summer season is starting to come to an end. It's raining out. Who wants to buy a bike? Who wants to ride in the rain? Some flaws are beginning to develop in my master plan. There's only a few weeks left here. I'm in trouble. So one of the guys out there, fellow rider, he's got a Yamaha 2-stroke. He makes me an offer. Doesn't offer to buy my bike. He makes me an offer to take my bike to Vancouver, because he lives in Vancouver. He's from BC. And his brother will try to sell my bike for me. The catch, his brother gets to ride the bike while he's trying to sell it. I give this some thought. I think it's a fair proposition. And also, I have no other options left. We ride into Vancouver and leave the bike at his place. Head back to Hell's Gate. And it keeps raining and raining. I'm starting to get worried. I can't afford to stay there once the free room and board ends. And the free room and board ends when the summer ends and all the staff pack up. Hell's Gate closes for the season, everyone goes home. That's where the worry is. Days keep ticking by. We get to the end of summer. The staff are packing up. Everyone's getting ready to head home. My brother Danny's packing up. He's got a flight booked. I'm out of options. The bike hasn't sold. It looks like I'm riding back one more time, crossing the country one more time with $100 to my name. I pack up my stuff with everyone else, hop in and drive back to Vancouver with my brother Danny and my friend whose brother's trying to sell my bike. We get back to Vancouver, stop at a bike shop because I remember my bike needed the chain was pretty worn out on it. It needed replacing. They quoted me $75 to replace the chain. I don't remember if that was installing it or not, but that was the majority of my money. I decided that the chain really wasn't that bad. It'll make it one more trip. Later that night, sometime around midnight, we head to the airport in Richmond, load my brother Danny off to catch his flight. Before Danny gets on the plane, I give him a message to pass on to my parents. I say, Dan, tell Mom and Dad that I will be leaving here as soon as the rain stops. Hopefully by week's end, I'll be able to get on the road and get home. So we leave him at the airport and we head back to my buddy's place. I get out to the garage to get the bike ready to go because I'm leaving now. That was always the plan. I told Danny to tell my parents what I told them because I didn't want them to have a chance to worry about me. By the time they started worrying, I'd already be home. That was the plan. So I get on the bike and go to roll it out of his garage and I can't move it. I try to push it and it won't move. So I turn the key thinking it's been left in gear, but the neutral light comes on, the green light's on, bike's in neutral. It won't move. Turn the key back off, get the bike up on the center stand, and the two of us take a look at it. I've been telling this story, talking about buddy and pal and friend. His name's Lester. Man, you get old, these things, they leave your brain, and I just remembered. His name's Lester. So Lester knew a bit more about bikes than I did. He'd been riding for quite a while. But we look at this thing, determine that the front brake is seized up. It's like a clamp on the front disc. Nothing's moving. If I want to get heading home that night, or right now, there's one option. We disconnect the front brake. We disconnected the front brake. So on a 72 Honda 750, there's a front disc brake and a rear drum brake. So now I've got just the rear drum brake, which is optimistically 40% of the braking power with the front gone. Did I mention it's raining as well? Things aren't, going the best, but the front wheel's rolling again. So I finished packing all my gear onto the bike, get everything strapped down, get on the bike, stand it up, start her up, and then I lean it back down on the side stand and it stalls. It's never done that before. Stand it back up, start it again, starts up, lean it, stalls. I open the gas tank and she's empty. I don't know if, his brother didn't, maybe it's from the brake being seized, he was getting poor mileage, didn't realize he was that low on gas. But anyway, here's another problem. I was also starting to wonder whether he actually had tried to sell the bike or not, but that was neither here nor there at this point. I just needed to get this thing going. Lester, as I mentioned, he rode a 2-stroke, so he had some pre-mixed bottles of gas and oil in his garage. So we poured one of those in the tank, and yeah, she fired right up. Didn't run the smoothest, big clouds of blue smoke belching out of those fancy weed burner pipes, but it was running, and it was enough to get me to the nearest gas station where I filled up and I was officially on my way. It's probably close to 3 in the morning now, and I may or may not have ran a few red lights leaving Vancouver, because it was, with the pouring rain, lack of braking, the light goes yellow and the rear brake just wasn't up to the task of stopping the bike safely. And there's no other traffic on the road at that time of the morning. There was a lot less traffic back in the early 80s in Vancouver. Made it out of Vancouver down to the US border. I hit customs. They ask me where I'm going, which I tell them. And then the next question I wasn't expecting was, how much money do you have on you? Oh boy. Told them where I was going and how much money I had. And the thing is, they don't have to let you into their country if they don't think you have the financial means to get back out of their country. I don't know if he didn't quite hear my destination or what I said, or if he read the desperation in my face, but he waved me through. And I didn't look back. I rode and I rode and I rode, and I didn't stop until I was some 2,200 kilometers from Vancouver, somewhere back in Montana. The reason I stopped was because that chain issue was coming back to haunt me again. I could hear it skipping and rattling. I could feel it. You give it throttle and there's a hesitation and a rattle. It couldn't be tightened anymore. It was tightened as far as it would go, and it was just hanging. So I pulled into a rest area, and I just pulled up to a park bench in the rest area. Didn't take anything off, just flopped on the bench and laid there and fell asleep immediately, only to wake up to a knock on my helmet. I look up and it's a Montana state trooper advising me that you're not allowed to sleep here, fella. He's very nice about it. I said, thanks, got back on my bike and headed back to, I believe it was the same bike shop in Miles, Montana. Inquired about a chain. They had a chain and they installed it for 20 bucks. Woohoo! I'm back on my way. Couldn't believe it. 75 bucks in Vancouver, couldn't afford that, 20 bucks. It leaves me just enough gas money to get home. I cruise out of there. It's a beautiful day, and I ride, and again, ride the entire day, ride the entire night. And it's about that same time, wee hours of the early morning the next day. This time I'm stopping because there's a new issue, a new dilemma. Riding along, and I thought at first, because I was so tired, I thought I was hallucinating, because it felt like there was a rope on the back of my bike, like I was towing something. I'm riding along, all of a sudden I feel this jolt. It was like I had hit the brake hard, but I hadn't touched anything. And I felt it, and did I feel that? Like I wasn't even sure. And then it happened again. Oh boy, something's not right here. So I eased it into a service center. Went inside, used the restroom, filled the tank, and then I just kind of slept out in the far corner of the parking lot until daylight. And when I got up in the morning, I found someone in the service center and asked for directions to a bike shop. I was in St. Paul's, Minneapolis now. They gave me directions. I found the shop, rolled in there, and had a technician look at the bike. It didn't take him long to get back to me and deliver the worst news yet. My rear bearings were seizing in my rear wheel. That feeling I was getting was the bearing seizing, and it's starting to lock up. Ooh, I don't even remember what the cost of repairing it was, or even if he quoted it to me. The more devastating news was he said it would take at least a week to get the parts in for it. I hadn't eaten since I left Vancouver, because I only had enough money for gas, if that. And now he's telling me I'm stuck in St. Paul's for a week. Oh, I'll starve to death. I can't afford food, let alone, accommodations. And I can't afford the repair on top of that anyway. It's just not an option. So I explained my whole situation to this technician. I told him I got to make it to Detroit on this thing. Is there any chance of that happening? He thought about it for a bit, and he kind of just shook his head, and he said, "Fella, maybe if you keep it under 50 miles an hour, stop every 30 minutes, let the thing cool down, and you do that." He didn't even finish the thought. He just kind of shrugged, like, maybe. I thought, maybe. What else was I going to do? A little prayer to God and get on the bike. It's still early morning in St. Paul's, Minneapolis. I get on my way, following the advice of the technician to the T. 50 miles an hour, no more. Every 30 minutes, pull over, stop for about the same amount of time, back on the road, and just kept doing that. I felt completely defeated, but I was gonna go until the bike wouldn't go anymore. And I just kept doing that and kept it up. To my utter disbelief, 8 o'clock at night, some 12 hours or 13 hours later, I roll into Chicago. I never would have thought I would have made it to Chicago. And there was just this bit of a relief, because I'm in ordinary driving conditions and road conditions, I'm 5 hours from Detroit, 5 hours from Windsor. And in my head, I'm thinking, if the bike dies on me now, if it stops completely, I could stop at a phone booth. I'm sure there'd be some screaming involved, but somebody might actually come and pick me up. And so that gave me a little bit of a little spirit back in me, a little bit of hope, and I thought I'm just going to keep doing what I've been doing. And I felt God was along for the ride now. Every mile I made it further was just a bonus. And so I kept doing the 50 miles an hour, 30 minutes of cooling, and keep going. 4 o'clock in the morning, 8 hours or so, I came into Detroit. Just couldn't believe it. I was in Detroit. I reached the tunnel, and by this time, because the bearings were seizing in the back, it affected the rear brake, and the rear brakes where you could put them all the way on and it wouldn't stop the bike. It would slow it a bit, but it was you almost couldn't feel it because the drag of the bearings were doing it. The drag of the bearings was like a car with a kind of a worn handbrake pulled, and you're driving with the thing pulled. You don't realize you've left the handbrake on. So when you let off the throttle, it would just drag. So I'd been riding it the entire day like that, so I had a pretty good feel for it. But I tell you, I got into that tunnel, and back in '82, you're still allowed to take a motorcycle through the tunnel. And I didn't care if I came out the other side of the tunnel on my side, sparks flying, as long as I was back on Canadian soil, back home. I couldn't believe I had made it that far, but I came out the other side of the tunnel, controlled, slowly rolled up to the booth, stopped at the booth with a very brief stop there. I was ushered through and able to cruise the last few kilometers home to my parents' house. It's after 4 in the morning, the house is dark. I shut the bike off and quietly roll into the driveway, leave all my gear on the bike, leave my helmet on, slip in the back door without making a sound. Now I'm within 10 feet of the refrigerator, like a cheetah pouncing on a wildebeest. I was on that fridge. It didn't have a chance. I exposed its innards, and its innards included a plate of cold leftover Wiener Schnitzel. The first schnitzel was down my throat before the helmet ever came off, feeding myself through the opening where the visor was flipped up. I felt like a miracle had occurred. I was in my own kitchen. I was I was eating food again. I was alive. No injuries, nothing bad happened. I was home. I took my helmet off, helped myself to a couple more of those schnitzels, and went up to bed. I put a little note on my door saying, "Don't call the cops, it's me, I made it home. Please don't wake me up, I really need to sleep." And that's what I did for an entire day. Once I did get up and get reacquainted with my family and share this same story I'm sharing with you, with them, I took another day and then headed over to Power Cycle, showed the bike to Iggy, told him what was wrong with it. He fixed my front brake, and he had a used rear wheel with the tire on it and slapped that on there. My total bill, $20. Amazing. Summer was successfully over. My third trip was successfully completed. My bike was intact. Nothing wrong with it now. I'm broke, but I'm back in Windsor and I've got a motorcycle. It's time to go back to school. My new school. The school where a certain girl is at. Funny thing, I hadn't really thought about that lately at all. I get to first day, second class. It's a history law class. I walk in the room, and it's funny. I'd actually had 3 girlfriends that summer, and they were all nice girls, but there was no connection. It was like I was numb inside. I thought at some point maybe there's something broken in me. I don't care anymore. I walked in that class, and in the second row, the room was still almost empty, about 5 desks back, there's this beauty of a girl sitting there. I felt I felt a flutter in my heart, and I was like, I'm still alive. I seized the moment. I boldly walked straight up to her in a confidence that I had never possessed prior to that. And I asked her, I looked right at her and I said, what time does this class end? And I could tell she was impressed because of the way she said, and she turned around and looked back at the clock at the back of the room. To think that I made it back to Windsor with just good luck and my own endurance or whatever it's delusional. At the time, I thought by the grace of God and my own perseverance, I was able to make it back. I realize now that I had nothing to do with it. This was God's plan. That's all there is to it. I understand that I'm not, as the saying goes, I'm not the dancer. I'm the one being danced, and that's what life is. You're along for the ride. This whole story started with a heartbroken 17-year-old, and I'll end it with this: that cute little girl in my law history class. Well, her and I will be celebrating our 40th wedding anniversary this week coming up. So God has a plan. On a final note, a month or so after the school year started, I guess it was probably a few weeks after, I'm over visiting my brother Walter, the one who I had apartment sat for at the beginning of this summer. I pull up to his place. His apartment is a single floor apartment right on the edge of where the apartment parking lots are. So his kitchen window, the parking lot looks right in at his kitchen window. That's where I pulled up, parked my bike, windows open. I go in, visit him for maybe 45 minutes, have a nice visit. I come out, I'm putting my helmet back on, walk out into the parking lot. The bike is gone. With the window open and I was sitting inside, never heard a thing. Somebody rolled it off, probably loaded it into the back of a pickup truck, if I had to guess. It was never to be seen by me again. I guess it had served its purpose. I didn't need it anymore, so it was removed from my belongings. Of course, I bought another bike, but that's a whole other story. Thanks for listening. I hope you got something from this. If you've got something to share, I'd love to hear it. If you got some similar stories, and I bet you've got a few under your hat, write them down, share them, think about it, learn something from them, learn more from them. Until next time,